Yo, slow budget, once again. Yo.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's show. Today's date is February 16, 2023, and this is a Thursday. Almost a weekend. Just one more day. Hang in there. And yesterday, I live in Arizona, and the weather was not Arizona weather. It snowed. As a matter of fact, I went home at 1 in the morning the day before, and it was already starting to snow. By the time I got the kids up and I looked outside, it was just snow. I'm like, you know what? Snow day, everyone, including me. Went back to sleep. Woke up around 10. So I didn't even do yesterday's show just because I got a real late start to the day because I went and saw my granddaughter in the morning. And, man, I appreciate it. I got 4 messages be like, hey, waiting for today's show. What's up with today's show? And I told them, man, I'm going to miss one day. So I appreciate that people are actually looking forward to hearing my show or, just they noticed it was missing and just checked up on me. I appreciate that. I got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I'll start with someone recommended the movie for me to watch, Raising Arizona with Nicolas Cage. I don't know how this movie missed me. It came out in '89, and I watched it. It was pretty funny. You could just tell early Nicolas Cage, and it was funny. It was a good show. And the gentleman that came in and we talked about it, I told him I actually met Nicolas Cage a lot of times. I used to be security where he lived in Malibu. It was a 1-mile stretch along the ocean with one guard shack at the entrance and a security gate type arm thing. And to get in, security had to open it. So I worked graveyard shift, probably like 3 days a week for a few months, right before Christmas. And he would come home late at night sometimes, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And sometimes he'd roll the window down, like, hey, just make sure it was him, and then open it, talk, because sometimes, hey, hello, Mr. Cage, good evening, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, him, his wife, Patricia Arquette. And there was only a 1-mile stretch in Malibu, but there was a lot of celebrities that lived there. And the only one I wanted to see that I never saw was Erika Eleniak from Baywatch. And to me, she was way hotter than Pamela Anderson. If you don't know who she is, look her up. Erika Eleniak, hot. And she lived there because I saw the logs. I just never saw her. Like I said, I work graveyard shift. She might in and out all day, but never saw her. The owner of Universal Studios lived there. So yeah, there was a lot of celebrities there, but Nicolas Cage is the only one I saw regular because he always came in 1, 2 in the morning during my shift. So I thought that was an interesting story. Let's see, another few things I want to talk about. So someone asked me, like I said, I put midday, send it, ask me some questions. I'm going to start doing it twice a week, so I'm getting a lot of questions. Now I don't want to bombard Friday with a 20-minute show. One of the questions was, you mentioned your top rappers. Who are your top female rappers? So, I thought about it. I compiled a list. I was going to do a top 5 with 5 honorable mentions, so I'll just do a top 10. Top 5 are pretty much in order. The other ones could all be switched around. So my number one female MC by far, hands down, Al Boogie, Miss Lauryn Hill from the Fugees. She has it all. She can sing, and then when she flows and raps, it's just sick. She's controlled the game for years. She hasn't made anything in a while because she became a mom and she's doing the family thing. But yeah, Al Boogie, number 1. Number 2 on that list would probably be Boss. Now, most of you guys, unless you're from the 80s, you don't even know who Boss is. Boss was a female rugged MC, came out with 1 album, and then just disappeared. I heard she got sick. I know she's still alive. She didn't die, but I heard she got sick and just stopped doing music. But one of the sickest albums from a female, Born Gangsta by Boss. If you don't know it, Google it, YouTube it, listen to her. She's just sick. Third one would probably be Rah Digga. I just love Rah Digga's flow, sound. She's a Busta Rhymes crew. And actually, she was from the Outsiders, the New Jersey clique that brought Eminem in. It was Young Z. I can't think of that one's name. But anyway, Rah Digga was from the Outsiders, and Busta Rhymes came and snatched her from that crew and put her on. But yeah, Rah Digga to me is sick. Another one, I got to go old school because I'm old school. MC Lyte. Light as a rock. I mean, she's always been my favorite. Just, if you don't know her, like I said, YouTube these people. Third one, my fifth one, which is kind of hard because I wanted to put so many as fifth, but I went with Erykah Badu. I like Erykah Badu. I like her sound, her neo flow, just her groove, everything about Badu I like. So that's when I decided, let me make some honorable mentions, but these are top 10. These could go in any order. Queen Latifah, the Queen. Foxy Brown. And I know a lot of people are probably like, well, Foxy Brown didn't write her stuff. Nas, at this point, what do we even know what rappers actually write their stuff? You know what I mean? That's a moot point if Foxy didn't write her stuff. I just liked her flow and she was hot as hell. And then I got to go with another old school, Roxanne Shante. She was the queen back then, serving every female MC in the game. And then the other one, I'll go with Jean Grey, just sick flow. And then the last one for 10 was a toss up, but I did go with the Brat. I just liked her flow when she came out. Her album was sick, Funkified, you know what I mean? So then my honorable mention peeking in would be Missy Elliott. Now here's the thing with Missy, and I've had this argument online with a lot of people. Missy made great songs. She was a performer. She could put on a show. Her music videos are sick. She makes good music. But is she a lyricist? I would never put her top 10 lyricist. For a female making, she'd be top 3 probably. If someone asked me, "Oh, what female rapper makes great songs?" Oh, Missy Elliott by far. So I put her at 11, peaking in the top 10. I hope I answered that question. And then I saw a meme the other day that it was like a little video, like you can't leave your kids home alone with dad, and it was a dad practicing all his WWE moves on the kid. And that just reminded me that was my cousin Ivan when I was young, when we were younger, when we were kids. My cousin Ivan grew up with me pretty much because his mom and him lived with my grandma or my parents sometimes. So, just that's how our households were back in the days. If someone's struggling, they move in. And so my cousin Ivan lived with me for a long time. So he grew up more like a little brother to me. And I probably had about, maybe 10 years on him, I want to say. I don't know exactly. But he was my wrestling, back then WWE, if I had, we're wrestling and I'm putting them in moves and throwing them around and flipping them. And so that's why I give a shout out to my cousin Ivan. He's doing real good right now. We're from South Central. He got a little trouble with the law. He had to go away on a little vacation, as we used to say. He went away to college, as we say, but he's been out for a while and he's doing real good. Got a little family. So I just want to give a quick shout out to my cousin Ivan. Love you much, cousin. Let's see. Here goes one thing I wanted to talk about, and to me it's kind of funny. And how do I make my money? I don't know why this is like an interest to everyone. People come in here, and people have said this a lot, and I don't think they realize they're rude. But I've heard it so much it doesn't even faze me no more. So someone will come into my shop and they'll look around, and then they won't buy, but they'll be like, "How do you make money here?" Or they'll be like, "How do you survive in this town with this shop?" And I'm just like, "Well, I try the best I can day by day." I mean, and in all honesty, people have always asked me, "How do you do so much with your kids the way you do?" Or "Why does Rocky dress so good?" And "How do you guys get all this stuff? How do you make money?" People are so curious of how I make my money. And honestly, if you walk in my shop, this is how I make my money. I know it doesn't look like much. You come in, most of the time it's a mess. You'll see weird shit. Who buys DVD? I got DVDs galore, Blu-rays, video games. You'll just see just a hodgepodge, random clothes, just everything, comic books laying around. And honestly, that is how I make my money. And I spoke on this before. You just got to know where to sell it. When I first opened up this shop, I would say I was making money 90% from the shop, 10% outside. Now it's flipped. Now the shop probably brings in 10% of my money and 90% is internet sales. So, and that's just how it is. And the way it works is you come in here, I might have a few hundred Blu-rays and you might look, you don't buy a Blu-ray, you don't look, but guess what? There's Facebook groups of guys and people dedicated to Blu-rays. You might look at one Blu-ray, realize that's not your taste, but guess what? That Blu-ray goes for $30, $40 online. I have a stack of them. They're all $10 to $20 Blu-rays for collectors. You know what I mean? So that's how I make my money. And I've told people this. You might see, like you go to a yard sale and you see some frog, let's just say salt and pepper shakers. And you're like, and it might only be $1. So you don't buy it. But guess what? I'll buy it for $1 because I know somewhere out there, there's A, someone that collects frogs, B, someone that collects salt and pepper shakers, and I could probably get $10 for that set to either collector that doesn't have them yet. So the way I look at the world is a lot different than the way another person will look at the world. And I'll just give another quick example. I went to a yard sale a couple weeks ago and I bought 10 U of A shirts. It cost me $8 for the 10 shirts. And I went late, so they were there all day. No one bought them. No one thought about it. I think they were selling them for $1 a piece. So I was like, would you take 8 for all 10? Sure. They just want to get rid of them. I know a place in Tucson that I could take them and get $5 to $6 a shirt for. Hands down, no questions asked. I do this all the time. I take certain clothes and they buy them. So to me, those 10 shirts, I could probably get 50 to 60 for. So one of the times I want to go to Tucson, I'll take those shirts, drop them off. We'll go eat, come back 20 minutes later, and oh, that'd be here's $60. So, and now my lunch and gas is paid on that Tucson trip, all because I spent $8 at a yard sale because I know where to take items and I know how to sell items. That's my specialty. So, like I said, I know people don't mean to be rude, but when I just hear it all the time. How do you make money? How do you survive? How are you still open? And like I said, I don't need my shop. I could close my shop tomorrow, work from home, and actually make more money because now I don't got to pay rent. I don't got to pay light bill. I don't got to pay an extra internet bill. So, yeah, but I enjoy being here in my shop because people come in and we talk and we chat. There goes the answer to that question. So I'm going to answer a few Snapchat questions. Snapchat questions. The first one is, no disrespect, but you're 45 posting a sneaky link app, LOL. Okay, so on my Snapchat the other day, it was Valentine's Day. I saw this meme that my homie Sailor put, and so I shared it, and it said, now hiring, type sneaky link to my DM. It was a joke. Obviously, it's a joke. It was Valentine's Day. I consider myself a comedian, so I was joking. Few people responded. It was comedy. First person, I saw the name like, oh my goodness. Sure enough, it said Link. It was one of my football players. I was just like, no, thank you. I'll pass. And it was just, he put 3 crying emojis. I'm just like, it was a joke. So what I took out of this, no disrespect, but you're 45. I'm like, hey, I took that as, if you think I'm 45, hey, I'll take that as I'll take the positives where they come. So the next one says, biggest red flags for a girl. I kind of thought about this. My red flags have changed since I was younger to older. When I was younger, I probably had a top 10 list of just women I won't date based on certain stuff. And back then, it's not. Now that I think about it, it was kind of crazy because back then it was like, you can't have more tattoos than me. You have to have a job. You have to have, it was just a list. And now that I think the number that you can't have more tattoos than me, because we're talking about 30 years ago probably. So it wasn't like women just having all kind of crazy tattoos that they have now, which now is like hot. Now I'm like, I don't care how many. Who cares how many tattoos a woman has now? But back then I just had the list. If you had kids, you got to take care of them, and just job was important, sense of humor. But the red flags now all have to do with kids. If you got kids and you don't take care of them, why do I want to date? Especially knowing the type of father I am. Everyone knows the type of father I am. So, yeah, why would I? Yeah, it all has to come down to kids. Even if you have kids like every other weekend and you have the kids, but I see you out every weekend, like you only have the kids on every other weekend, but yet you're not even watching your kids on weekend. So, yeah, so every red flag pretty much has to do with kids. If someone's taking care of their kids, that's number one to me. So that's the answer to that question. Let's see. Next question just says, you're a pretty cool person. Thank you. I appreciate it. Next one says, you are adorable. Again, thank you. I appreciate it. And let's go back to yesterday. Yeah, yesterday it was snowing hard, so I kept my kids home from school. And when the school calls, if the kids don't go to school, the school calls. And right away, she was like, this is, so-and-so from the school. Right away, I was like, yeah, me and my kids were snowed in today. She started laughing because I'm pretty sure, it was an excuse for everyone like that. So, oh man, this show went longer than. So I do have a lot more stuff to talk about tomorrow. I'm going to do more Snapchat questions. I'm going to put today. I do have a couple already that I'm saving because they're a little longer. I know the answer is going to be longer. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Stay warm out there because I see everybody on Snapchat that live in different places. The weather's bad out there. Drive safe, people. Wear your seatbelt. Drive safe. You guys have a good one. Talk to you tomorrow.
Burn one. Yo. Slow budget. Once again.